What's up, everybody? Matt here with Land and Legacy today to talk to you about, in this vlog, different ways to think outside the box when it comes to clover management. Hope you guys enjoy and learn something. Traditional ways of clover management include finding the weed or finding a non-desirable species, not necessarily just a weed, in a clover food plot, and then taking, let's say it's a grass, and using clethodim, spraying the entire food plot, addressing every single square foot of the food plot with the herbicide for a grass that's only in, let's say, 10 to 20% of the food plot. That's what happens all the time across the country. We see a weed and we just say, let's treat that whole food plot. What's the size of it? It's an acre. I'm gonna mix up the whole acre and just treat it all. But really, we only need that clethodim to be on 10 to 20% of the food plot. So we're wasting a lot of herbicide by doing that. And then the other thing that we often see is herbicide being used on species that, if you treated them appropriately and mowed them adequately, let's say not any more than your typical one mow or two mows for an entire growing season in clover plots, that they wouldn't produce a viable seed anyhow. So oftentimes we're seeing herbicide applied to those situations, and we can stop and think, what if I don't do that? What if I think outside the box and address this clover plot for what it is, perennial stand, and really think about my usage of herbicide and how I can decrease that and still have an extremely successful, viable clover plot that's not overtaken by weeds. So in this video, you're going to see an unconventional way of thinking about addressing potential problems or issues that a lot of people face in their clover plots. Hope you guys enjoy it and will learn something about managing weeds and reducing herbicide usage and being smart about the way you spend your time on your property. Sedges. We all know about them. They always happen or tend to happen, be a common occurrence in clover food plots. And they're kind of tough. They're tough to identify as sedges because a lot of people just identify them as a grass. So they apply the wrong herbicide. They apply clethodim, grass-specific herbicide, to treat a species that they think is grass, and it's a waste of time and a failure. Yet a sedge grows in a clump and tends to grow and be focused in lower lying areas of a food plot. Yet we'll go and apply clethodim across the whole food plot instead of addressing just those low-lying areas and the clumps that the sedges actually are growing in. So one way to look at it is say, hey, I could just take a glyphosate and go to each individual clump of sedge and spot treat that area rather than treating the whole entire food plot. It will save you time, it will save you money, and it limits the amount of herbicide you're putting on the ground as well. So that's one common issue solved, right? Another common issue that people are seeing are things like thistles in food plots. You can certainly apply herbicide to a thistle, but why not look at it and say, hey, I'll just keep that thing mowed once or twice a year. It will inhibit that thistle from being able to produce an active seed head. And so instead of going and mixing up this herbicide for, let's say, 5-10 sprouts across the whole food plot, I'm just gonna go either, you can pull them too. You can pull them or just keep that food plot mowed, managed effectively, and you've removed the problem. Again, you limit the herbicide, you limit the amount of money, but you address the issue at the same time. So moving forward with clover plots, think things outside the box sometimes. Just because there's an issue or you think that there's a big issue, a lot of times we tend to overthink weeds as issues in food plots, and sometimes they can be used as forages. like ragweed. Ragweed's always in clover plots, but people get all bent out of shape about it. But hey, that's another forage. It's not a big deal. Regardless, getting sidetracked here. There's ways to look at things differently and identify species, their life cycles, that we would look at as a weed in clover plots and manage them differently. Again, we're going to limit the amount of herbicide by choosing to mow or just spot treat these areas versus a broad spectrum, cover the entire acre for a 10% portion of the food plot that is, let's say, infested with a weed. We can address just that 10%. So think about that next time you guys are managing your clover plots, perennial stands, and address the issues at hand. Really think about it, and hopefully that'll help you manage your clover plots. It's hot. I'm probably sweating in this video, but it's August and this clover plot is looking fantastic. Can't beat it. Stratton's Revival Blend. Y'all, if you need any more information, comment below. Check us out on the podcast. I'm sure we'll be talking about clover stands and hunting over them here in the next month, which is super exciting. We'll check you later.